Hi there, my name's Mandy and I'm the trauma therapist here at Mind, Body and Fitness. I came to having a real passion for the mind and body connection, the trauma connection, decades ago, but even in particularly the last 10 years, where I myself wanted to know more about what was going on for me. And so I went to a therapist, and it said to her that I wanted to now understand more about what was going on psychologically for me. And she recommended going on a counselling course to get a greater understanding as to all the connections, which I went to. I did my level 2. Never thinking that I will look to qualify as a counsellor, because I hadn't really managed to do very well in my exams as a child. And so I thought, okay, so we carried on. My tutor encouraged me to do level 3 counselling skills, which we did, and then encouraged me even more to go on to do level 4. And what I realised in level 4 was that it really was about you, and really what brought the processes and thoughts and feelings and connections, and digging deeper into what really was going on for you, which I found extremely beneficial and enriching and enlightening. And I then started my this led me to my thirst of wanting to know more of trauma, how it affects your mind, body, and pursued many pathways, including reading and many courses, and came across wonderful people such as Babette Rothschild, Professor Vanderkolt, who have been studying this for decades, the mind and body connection, which only has enriched everything that I have done. I started to volunteer at a rape crisis centre as a volunteer counsellor, and what I learned as regards to the window of tolerance, so when you go out of your window, so you either go into fight, flight or freeze or flop, I was able to advise or let people know in my therapy room about that their reaction to this situation was a very normal response to an abnormal situation, and that the fact that the amygdala, the back part of our brain, is the part of the brain that takes over instantaneously, and so that there's no thinking. This thinking part of our brain has gone offline within 0.003 of a second, and so we don't think. It's just about survival in this moment, in this second. And so passing that knowledge on to people, I became to realise what a godsend, I suppose, it was to them, to actually have, for them not to think, well, I should have done this or I should have done that. And so that led me further into pursuing and understanding further how the brain reacts in trauma, and what effects that then has on the body. I continued on and qualified and certified clinical trauma therapist with the Grove in London, which cemented many of those thought process that I'd learnt of, and continued that thirst of wanting to disseminate this knowledge to as many people as possible. I also saw how extremely beneficial it was to the many parents that I supported in a charity that I built over the last 8 years, that supported parents and carers children who disclosed sexual abuse as children, and for them to understand not only where they were coming from their perspective, but equally where their children were at. So there was a trauma understanding and within the household, which became extremely beneficial to build resilience around that horrendous trauma that they were all suffering. I also, within home, talked about this continually, about the mind and body connection. So I pursued this and kept talking about it for years, everything that I learnt, etc., and talked about it at home. And then there was a few years ago, my son was in really bad pain, thinking that, you know, he may not be able to walk. It was really, really bad back pain. We sent him to get all MRI scans to see, you know, what was going on. The doctor advised that there wasn't anything physically wrong, but it was psychological. Wasn't anything